Welcome back to our study on going through the wilderness. This week, we are talking about how do we handle the wilderness when it's not really my fault. Last week, we talked about how God met Moses in his wilderness. Moses' sin drove him away from his purpose, away from his people, and God calls him out of it. God met him where he was. And this is the good news of the gospel. God meets us wherever we're at. He's always with us. Even while we were still sinners, he died for us. So when we are lost in sin, out in the middle of nowhere, we are not too far from the hand of God. So let's set the stage for moving into this one. As we walk through these motifs of the desert, we're going to follow the Exodus story and kind of culminate with Jesus. But God hears the cries of Israel. God calls Moses and to go deliver the people. Right? And when he tells Moses to do is to go to Pharaoh and say, release my people so that they can worship me for 3 days in the wilderness. So there's this idea that I can get away from all the sound, all the craziness around me, connect with God out where he is. Pharaoh says no. And we begin to see things happen. There is Moses going against the magicians of Egypt, and then the plagues start coming. The Nile and all water turns to blood. Frogs come from the Nile. Gnats and lice begin to fill the land. After that, flies, the disease of the livestock. Boils begin to form on livestock and people. It begins to hail fire from heaven. Locusts come to devour, and then there's darkness for 3 days. And each time, Moses says, let my people go. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he says, no, I'm not going to let him go. And it culminates to the death of the firstborn. The freedom that came at a steep price for the Egyptians. So God shows his majestic authority, shows his glory over in judgment in the land of Egypt, and calls out the Israelites. And it says they're going to plunder them. So their owners say, you know what, take whatever you want, leave. And they're chased. They get to the Red Sea. Famously, the sea parts, and they enter into the wilderness. And that's where we'll pick up right now. This will be Exodus 15, verses 22 through 27. Then Moses made Israel set out from the Red Sea, and they went into the wilderness of Shur. They went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. When they came to Marah, they could not drink the water of Marah because it was bitter. Therefore it was named Marah. And the people grumbled against Moses, saying, what shall we drink? And he cried to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a log. He threw it into the water, and the water became sweet. There the Lord made for them a statute and a rule. There he tested them, saying, if you will diligently listen to the voice of the Lord your God, and do which is right in his eyes, give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of the diseases on you that I put on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord your healer. Then they came to Elim, where there were 12 springs of water, 70 palm trees, and they camped there by the water. So notice, the Israelites have been delivered, and it's not God directly who leads them into the wilderness of Shur. It's Moses. Moses is the one who takes them. Well, why is that? They're going en route back to the land of their forefathers, back to the land of Jacob. Where they're going through is a straight line. They're going to the promised land. This wilderness they're in is one of necessity. There is no other choice. They have to walk this way to flee the land they came from and make it to the promised land. So this particular one is not about judgment or sin. Not all the wilderness situations are that way. When we talk about wilderness in our lives, these are these moments that we are in a tough place, we're in a hard place, we're in a place where we feel like I'm out of the normal element of my life. I'm in a season is kind of what we would probably use today. But I'm in this place that's hard. And this hardness was not judgment, was not sin, it was necessity. This was the path to the promise. So God allows us to be brought here. So let's look at the pretext for just a moment. When God calls them out of Egypt to go across the wilderness, this was an act of faith, but they had good reason to think God would provide for them. right? They just saw God do all the miracles and the plagues of Egypt. So God was not testing them in a way he had not already revealed himself. So the wilderness is a hard place, but we can trust God because we can look back at what he's done in our lives and the lives of others and say, yes, I can trust the Lord. So it's a founded faith. It's not just a blind faith, right? I have a reason to believe that God will prosper and sustain me. And they wander for 3 days. They find no water. So imagine that for just a moment. We're delivered. We're out in the desert. I'm supposed to be trusting God. I have these flasks of water. They're getting empty. And they say, God, we don't see any water. I don't see you providing right now. You brought us here. You delivered us from Egypt. And now we're in a hard place. And Christianity is no different. There's a line of Christianity that teaches, hey, when you become a Christian, life will be easy, life will be simple. You'll never have to struggle again. You'll never have to worry. Those are true in the sense that I don't have to worry because my trust is in the Lord. It's not because I'm not in worrisome situations. That would be a natural version, right? And that's what people want. Like, they want a natural version of this. Oh, you'll have no worries because your life will be easy. No, I have no worry because my faith and trust is in something supernatural in God himself. So he brought us here, right? He's like, look, you brought us here and you haven't even brought us any water. So they're looking for it. And they find Marah, which was an oasis. This was a stop on the way to Midian. This is why it says in the beginning, Moses led them there. Why? He's the only one of his group who had left Egypt. No one else has seen this. Moses has. Moses has been here before. So he's asking them to trust him. And that's some of the reality of also when we walk with people in Christ, we walk with those beside us and those younger than us. Why? Because we've been in the wilderness before. We can help others navigate it. And he took them to Marah where there should have been water. And what does he find? Bitter water. There's bitter water. Moses had come this way to go to Midian. That's where he was living before. And they're wandering, and the water was not what they expected. And here's another thing that many of us have gone through. Man, it just seems like thing after thing, nothing goes right. And now I'm looking around saying, but God, it's not my fault. I didn't put myself in this position. Week 1, Moses put himself there. Week 2, this isn't my fault. I just ended up here while trying to follow you, God. And we have to trust him. We have to trust who God brings us in our lives to help lead us and follow them. Because Moses is the only one who's navigated this. And when it says bitter water, that most likely is brackish water mixed with salt. Because today, that area is filled with brackish waters. And who are they angry at? Moses. You're the one who brought us out here. God didn't tell us to go this way. No, but Moses knew God would provide anyway. There's moments in life where when we're walking with God, we may not always have clear direction. And there's moments where we need to stay and pray and wait. And there's moments when you don't have the choice. I have to make a decision. So Moses says, well, I've seen literal miracles. I saw the Red Sea parted. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. They ask, what shall we drink? Moses, this is your fault. You brought us somewhere and we're thirsty. God, I followed you and I'm thirsty. I don't feel like I'm getting enough, am enough, all of those things. When we are faced with that reality, we can do the same thing as the Israelites. Our options are very simple. I can get mad and I can turn back and go back to Egypt. Egypt represents sinful captivity. I can get mad and blame someone. That's not my fault. Maybe so, yet here we are. One of the most important principles of life is my life may not be my fault, but it is now my responsibility. It may not be my fault, but it is my responsibility to build a better, beautiful life. And then that leaves us with one other option. I can trust God. I can go back to sin and captivity. I can leave and throw my hands up. I can be mad and blame somebody else. Or, while I'm wandering, I trust the Lord. So Moses cries out for the people. And folks, more often than not, this is why the wilderness is important. And it's the only way to survive the wilderness seasons of life, is we get very open and very raw with God. Our prayer life becomes very open and honest. It's important for all of us to go through these seasons, because I can rely on knowledge and training and experience, but none of that really matters. The real thing that matters is, do I trust the Lord? Do I trust God? Will I flee from the sins of my past to the new life of God and trust that He will get me there? This is why it's important that all of us go through these seasons. Yes, it is a good thing to go through wilderness seasons. It's not an easy thing. And when it says that God tests them, that wasn't so that God could see what they would do. It's so that we would see what we would do. And if you see what happens, and Moses trusting God, he sees a log, and God says, throw it in the water. And even early fathers like Jerome and Tertullian saw the symbolism. There's wood that goes into brackish water, bitter water, and the water becomes sweet, just like the cross. The cross makes contact with our sin, and we are washed clean, and we are given the hope and the newness of life. And so we may know the directions, we may be going to the right place, the right way, and it still goes wrong. Moses had been here before. This was en route to where his wife's family lives. It still may go wrong. Just because something went wrong doesn't mean we did something wrong. It's just the reality of life. And this test lets us know who we are. And we can course correct. Who and what do I trust and why? Is it my talent? Is it my skills? Is it my pedigree? Is it my family? Or is it God? See, I believe in God because He's true. I believe He's the truth. But I also believe in God because He's changed me. And so what this teaches is, if we will listen to the voice of God, which is what He asked them, then we will do what is right in His eyes. That I need to see the world as God sees the world. That I would see it and live accordingly. That I no longer view it through human eyes or the world's eyes. I change my worldview to have the eyes of God Himself. Then I have to have ears for His commandments. That means actually listening to them. Not just knowing them, not just hearing them. Listen to it. Think about it. Incorporate it. And what is the promise? And I think it's a very interesting one. And it sounds worse than what it means. It says, I will not put the diseases on you like in Egypt. Why? For I am the healer, Jehovah Rapha. This is where we get that name. A new name for God for the people. I will shield you from the sin and sickness of the Egyptians. Judgment will not come to you like it came to them if you will follow me. Why? Because sin, by its nature, destroys. It's what it does. When it says, by His stripes we are healed, Peter, when he reiterates that from Isaiah, it's talking about our sin being cleansed. So he says this sickness, this disease, this judgment that your sin would bring you, if you would follow me, I will shield you from it, from what it does to your soul. There may be real consequences. We will see that in the book of Exodus, for sure. But judgment's not just the natural course of actions. God can intervene on our behalf. And what does this do? It allows them to go to Elim, an oasis with plenty of water. They're still in the wilderness. They're not at the destination. They have not arrived yet, but they have been provided for. They went to one place and God did something miraculous. God can still do that today. They go to the next place and God does something natural. He provides for them with a normal bit of water that was always there. He gave them enough water from the supernatural to make it to the natural, because He is God of both. He is God of heaven and earth, the natural and the supernatural world. So when we look at things like this, man, I'm trying to follow God and I feel like I end up in these wilderness and life gets hard and I feel lost. Do I trust that God will protect us and provide for us? Will I see the world as He does? Will I keep His commandments? Will I listen to His voice and listen to His commandments and live it out in my life? Because He is Jehovah Rapha, the healer, and He can heal me from all my sin, all my struggles, protect us in this desert place so that we can know who we are in relation to God and know who we are in Christ. So I want to thank you for joining us for today and for being a part of this study. If you have any questions, you can email me at staff@newday416.church. If you want to take any next steps, you can go to newday416.church. If you want to give, or another way you can help us out is leave a Google review. It just helps people around us be able to find us. So we thank you all. Have a blessed and wonderful week, and we'll see you on Sunday.